everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a strange little video that is, first of all, it's to complete my very own challenge at the Secret Not Secret Kit Club April scrap party, which went on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And my challenge was Friday night, and I'm just now on Tuesday morning, barely Tuesday morning, it's 11:20. I'm just now getting around to actually doing the challenge. So the challenge was, and I will tell you, I'm also doing today's load prompt, and I'll tell you more about that later. This is the photo I'm going to use, and it's a crop of this photo, and I'll explain all that in a minute. So my challenge was to do a better job at the mixed media frenzy layout that I had done on Friday. I had done it on Thursday for Friday. This was the original, and you can see that there's mixed media kind of sticking out underneath and alongside all of these flowers and leaves and all of this decorative stuff. And mine, I did the mixed media, and then I covered it up with a photo that's too big, too many papers, too much stuff. I don't hate the page. I like it, actually. But it isn't what I had in mind for doing for that lift. So number one, this style, absolutely not my style. And it's still not my style, and this is about as close as I was ever going to get to that. So this one's going to be very different. There's not going to be a layered dimensional flower in the on the page at all. But what I want is this diagonal left to upper left to lower right mixed media, which in here looks all gray, but I think it'd be pretty in several different colors, so we'll see how that works out. And then there's little bits of stamping and maybe stenciling. There's some text up here and there. So I'm going to put that aside. I've got my sheet of Vicki Boutin Foundations paper, and I have taken a paintbrush and I've done a diagonal line of this clear gesso so that the watery painting that I'm going to do for the base part of it will move around nicely. But I left an edge where maybe it'll go off the edge, and maybe some of the stamping and other stuff that I do will maybe show that edge. I have available, I used stencils the last time, and I used glaze, like shiny pastes through my stencil, and I did not, it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I didn't hate it, again, it was fine, but it wasn't what I wanted for that page. I have these stamps. These are ones I got from Christina from the Redefined Kreative shop. It has her little magic, adding little accents to pages kind of stamps. It's art by Marlene Kling stamps, and they are really great little rubber stamps. I've got that at the ready, and I've got this set of stamps that I got in a Mind the Scrap kit that I've taken out this calendar because the page story has something to do with dates and time, so I'll explain that in a minute. And it's also got this kind of leopard skin and some other little texture-y type stamps that I could use. So I'll put those aside. I'm also planning to use my challenge to myself here is to use stuff. I had to empty, okay, let me show you. This little can right here was my trash can for this weekend's color study Lollapalooza class with Vicki Boutin. So I put all my trash in there, and then I started looking at my trash, and at this little tray had some things that I thought maybe I could use. So I poured it all out so that I could put these large ephemera in here as I'm organizing my ephemera from that collection. And I ended up with some things that I had, I'd notched out some notches, and I had some stuff that I'd fussy cut around it, but not it, including some butterflies and just a bunch of little stuff. So that's all the and I miscut I didn't follow the instructions properly, and I miscut this yellow cardstock into mats that were the wrong size for the project. So I cut another one for the projects, and had these left over. And it turned out one of them was perfect for my photo. So that allows me to kind of be sure that my photo is not going to be too big. I can actually do the stamping around it by, I think I'm going to turn this over, and I'll maybe stamp even around it or up close to it, and then I'll put the photo on it and put it back down in place. Today's load prompt is about, the theme for the month is Golden Girls. And today's character that they're focusing on for the prompt was Blanche Devereaux, who was, the sexy, flirty, very risque one of the bunch. And she had some great lines in the show. And so the prompt was to either tell a story of a risque moment or do something risque or risky, a technique that you haven't tried. So my risque technique is I'm going to, instead of doing it privately where I could kind of throw away the stuff, I'm going to redo that background on camera. And I'm going to have to be stuck with what it is, just like I was with the other one. And so that's the risky part. This photo was taken in 1981. It came from this cup, and these cups were what we served the beverages in at our wedding, which was on August 8th, 1981. And you can kind of see here when you go far away, when I went up close and changed it to black and white, you can't really tell how many empty Pat O'Brien's glasses there are in front of us there by the time the Pat O'Brien's photographer came around to our table. And this was one of those, we were not dating, we were not married, we were not dating at the time that this photo was taken. I was his boss, and we were in New Orleans trying to complete a very tricky project, a conversion project that was really critical to the business there. It was in exploration, figuring out where to drill for oil. And we were all on mainframes then. There were no PCs, and we didn't have cell phones. So the system went down that day, and we weren't able to work. We were kind of under instructions to keep calling in to see when it was back up so that we would know when to come back in. So we went back to our hotel rooms and kept calling back in, and then whoever would call, we'd report to the other, well, it looks like they're still not back up yet. And at one point we got a notice that the system, they were not going to try, they had some work to do on it, and they were not going to try to bring it up the rest of the day. So we had the rest of the day off. So we decided to go to Pat O'Brien's. And like I said, we weren't dating, but the attraction was kind of building. And we didn't start dating until after we kind of revealed it to our bosses so that I could be removed from having any influence over his salary administration. So just so you know, we weren't cheating the system there. So, but we sat there, and those hurricanes went down so easily and so good. We ended up stumbling through the city. We were in search of something to eat, and eating was actually the last thing we were ever able to do that evening. So it was kind of it was kind of a day that seemed, I don't know, I don't really have to go into detail, but the title of this page is going to be this little thing that I printed and cut out called Happy 7:30, because this was when that started. We had asked, the first night we were there working on the project was a couple nights before this. We had asked for a wake-up calls from the hotel, and I didn't get, and it was for 7:30. We had to go in at 9, so 7:30 was the wake-up call. So I didn't get mine, and I woke up on my own about 7:45, and I called him and said, "Did you get your wake-up call?" I didn't get mine. He said, No, I didn't get mine either. So the next, we agreed that we weren't going to rely on the wake-up calls, that we would call each other. And so when I called him the next morning, I wished him happy 7:30. And when he called me the next day, he wished me happy 7:30. And so twice a day for 40 years, we have wished each other happy 7:30. And my son was telling this story to his girlfriend a couple nights ago, and tears came to my eyes, and then I laughed, and because, it's just silly stuff. So I've typed in this crazy font, happy 7:30, and I'm just going to kind of stick that. If you'll notice in the original here, there's no title and no journaling. So I'm just going to kind of stick that in there. And then I'm going to use all this trash, or as much of it as I can, on the page. So let's get started now. I've got some oxides out, but what I think I'm going to do first is I'm going to use this watercolor. This also came in a Mind the Scrap kit. It's by Little Rainbow Moon. It's www.littlerainbowmoon.com. Little Rainbow Moon handmade watercolors. And this one is Emerald City, and it's just gorgeous, and it looks shimmery, and I have not used this yet. It came in last month's kit, and I have a little bit of this Heidi Swapp Color Shine that also came in the kit called Sweet Mint. So I'm going to try to use that. I'm going to wet this and let it drip on my little saucer here. I'm just kind of pressing on this. This is a Vicki Boutin watercolor brush. I'm not going to apply it with the packaging technique, but I want it to be really wet because I don't want this to be a real saturated kind of thing. But I'm going to try to go both inside and outside the, let me put that here now. And this is my packaging. It's not going to be too terribly sophisticated, but I'll leave that there because it's got some color on the tip of that brush. Okay. I'm just going to do this kind of, and I'm going to swirl it around and let some drips of it kind of move around, and I'm going to do it that whole diagonal. It's beautiful. And it's drying, the parts that it's drying with a really beautiful sheen. Now I've got some zigzag marks there that aren't necessarily what I want. And now I'm going to kind of add in some from the brush, which is a different look to the color. I'm going to extend some of this out. I love how this part has already kind of spread. I'm going to let some of those darker areas be dark. I'm going to drop some drips and more of this background. My intent is, and my challenge was just to do the background, then you can put whatever you want on top of it. So I'm going to take that to heart, and I'm going to do, my layout's going to look very different, although influenced by the original. So if I do some of these about, that kind of gives me a little bit of a splattery look. Okay, so that's drying pretty fast. I'm going to add a couple more splatters. Let me shake that up to get okay, and that's going to mix in with that water. Okay, now, because I like the look of things with a sheen after they've been dried with a paper towel, I'm going to do that. And that will kind of set us up to go ahead and finish some of the other things that get the stamping on there. Okay, and that kind of lightens those dots because I'm going to do some stamping over and about. Okay, and my stamping colors, I do know, for example, that I want my photo kind of down right about in here. And you may ask why yellow? That's what I had, that's what I had on my table. So I'm limiting myself to that. So I'm going to kind of put that there, and I'm going to do the stamp of the calendar. And this is one that I'm going to do in using hickory smoke distress oxide. I don't want it to be real, let's see. Okay, there. I don't necessarily want it to be very, I don't want it as much contrast as black. Okay, so I'm going to use the gray while I have it open to do some of these stamps. Let's see what we want here. I'm going to try this one and just kind of ink it up this way and not worry a whole lot about whether I get a lot on there. And I kind of like this and feel like that might add to that. I love that. That's amazing. Okay, and I'm going to do it upside down, maybe kind of down here, and just put it on unevenly. Things that need to be washed, I'm going to set over here. I like the one with the little plus signs, and I thought that might be good in the gray as well. And I'm going to kind of do it. Let's see, I want the there. and up there. Okay, and it's coming out unevenly, which is perfect. And now I also want, I think that's all I'm going to do with the gray. I also want some of this peacock feathers, but and then I'm going to kind of move that around. Okay. And I'm going to, kind of to explain that yellow, I'm going to do these little circly bits in yellow. And I'm kind of grouping some of my stamping together, but I'm turning the stamp around, and I like how the yellow layers over that color. Here, I'm going to actually overlap the gray, and I think I will do some, it really looks pretty on top of that mint green. I'll kind of do that. Okay, it doesn't show as much when you layer it over, but I have enough of it on white that that's going to be nice. Okay, the other one I wanted to be sure and use is this one with the things that look sort of like raindrops. And I'm gonna do purple for this one, and I think the purple may also look good layered over the, because I've got this purple and blue kind of scrap there. The scraps determine my colors, by the way. So whatever colors were in the scraps. Okay, so here I'm going to, I think the purple will look okay over the green, but I kind of want most of it on white. So I'm going to kind of do it, well, where? I don't want to come out too much. Let's do it right here. There we go. And then let's do this. Here, and I may use some of my paper to kind of go over that. And I think I'm going to put it in right there. There. Okay, now I'm going to on my original, one of the things I liked was that I had a cut file that was that had of a ViewMaster that had hearts around it, and I used that ViewMaster as a stencil, and I brushed some color on. So I'm gonna take the peacock feathers here, and I'm gonna, do I have a, yeah, there. Okay, I'm gonna use my blue, I'm gonna use my teal one. I've got this, I have a small punch. Obviously, I used the ViewMaster on my other page. So I have this little small punch I just punched out of some extra cardstock here. And just gonna kind of lightly add some hearts 2 at a time. Okay, I'll just turn it around a little bit and I'll do some down in here. Okay, so I think that's my background now, but with some of these small stamps, I can go back in after I've assembled the photo and the papers and the flare that I'm going to use. Okay, so here I will start building the stuff that's going on the page. I'm going to put a little bit of foam behind the photo when I put it on the mat. It's harder to get the frame when you do it that way. Okay, and if I recall, it was kind of right there. And then I can layer up some other things. Okay, so that's, we could just leave it like that, right? I'm gonna start kind of doing, let's see, what can I do? I have this flower. What I want to do is use embellishments going up. But what I've limited myself to are these things that I have, so that none of them are whole, and some of them are not fussy cut yet. And so I'm doing that. And I should have used some decorative scissors. I have scissors that would have been perfect, but I didn't bring them to the table. And my idea for this was to get it done and to not I'm gonna go with it, and then we'll see what we need to do to make things whole again. I'm gonna put this one maybe right here. And then I've got a piece of grid paper here. Or do I want that bright orange? I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. I know that I want to put that there, and then I'll have something here that will layer. Let me put my title on so that I don't lose it. I don't really need to put much because it doesn't need to be as heavily layered. My intent is not for it to be as heavily layered as the original, but I would it's going to be difficult with the pieces that I've left myself. Okay, so I'm gonna do that and kind of let it hang out over here, and maybe I will take this, I'm gonna use it on that side and put that under there. I do like the confetti side though. Do it kind of like that. And I will take a butterfly wing, maybe here. That's not enough of a wing there. Okay, how about if I did this? That might work. And I have a punch in case I want to punch some whole circles out of some of the scraps that I have left. If I can't get a butterfly that's worth using, if there's not enough of the butterfly on there. So what I'm going to do here is kind of put that you know what? I'm gonna put it, but I need something to go over that cut edge. How about if I took this and put it there over on top? It's kind of cheating. But I think that's gonna work to hide the fact that that's cut. And then I can do the butterfly kind of like that, although I think it needs to be on foam, but it's stuck, so I'm leaving it. Okay, I've got this little lime green half circle that I'm gonna put right in here. Ooh, no, you know what? I'm gonna use it on the other side. And I hate that I'm doing that because I love the lime green side. You know, that's my other favorite color. Here's another one of these, but I've got that there, and I think what I'm gonna do is fussy cut this one and see if I can use it in combination. I wasn't going to use layered flowers together, and I should go get those. Let me leave you for a second, and I will be back with those scissors. And you'll laugh at the cups I use to store my scissors. It's the cups from the wedding. And those were actually used because all the cups were used, and I washed them 40 years ago and used them. Okay, so what pattern am I looking for? And I just dumped those over. I'm looking for kind of a random pattern. This is sort of like what I want. There. Okay, I'm gonna go with, and I'm making a terrible mess here. I don't want a perfect scallop, but I kind of like these. Okay, now where's the flower? Okay, let me go And this is going to cut it a little bit smaller. Look how perfect that is. It gives you that kind of uneven, and that way I can even cut off that straight part. And then now all I have to do is kind of cut some of the deep V's just to separate the petals. And especially I want to do that where there are the green leaves. And I'll layer that up there. And I have a piece of leaf ephemera that I'm sure is from a Paige Evans collection that has been on the floor and then in one of my buckets, and it's kind of so let's do this. I didn't get enough of those to really look good layered over that. Okay. And that's not coming off. Okay. So what I want to do is get enough foam on this. Let's see which side. I'm probably going to do it this way. So I'll put it in the center. I don't know why I didn't just go ahead and do that. I'll put it up a little bit higher than the other flower. The other flower's on foam. So let me do that. And then I'm gonna stick this guy right up under there, just so that I'm repeating an element from down below. There's a little bit of that yellow still showing. So here's my leaf from a Paige Evans collection. I don't know that I'm gonna layer this with this. Let's do that. I'm gonna put it on. And you know, I see some adhesive on it, so it must have fallen off of a layout. So, no, I'm not going to go combing through my albums to identify which layout it fell off of. It'll just have to be minus that. Okay, I'm going to layer this on top of that, and I'm going to put a little yellow heart up there, because we've got this kind of bright yellow matting down here, and I want to repeat it someplace else. So when okay, there, that works. When I cut my little stencil for the hearts there, I left this little heart. I kept it, and I'm going to add it up there to kind of just repeat that. My intent is to kind of fill some things in there, but I haven't quite got that figured out yet. And again, this is risky or risque in that come on. There. In that I do not have any idea what I'm doing. Now, let me put my flares on. Before I go too much, well, actually, that's not true. I do know I want one up there. And I'm going to go with the purple one. I have a hard time getting the backing off these foam squares, and I usually don't use them when I'm filming because I don't want you to have to suffer through that. So I think that purple goes nicely right there. Okay, let's see what else we've got going on here. I've got this flower that's kind of tuckable behind something else. I have, that's probably going to go back in a trash heap. I don't have any whole images here, so I'm going to break my own rule. Well, you know what? Look, why would I do that? I'm going to, these are a couple little scrap pieces that came from the class. I'm going to use those there. Okay, got to, that's a little too close to the edge. Okay, this, and kind of get that like that. And go there. And I'll kind of layer those that way. Okay, I'm going to stick with my plan. Now this lets me, there needs to be something here, right? So why, let me undo this. And make that have it go over this but under this. Is that okay? That works. Okay, and I've got this flower that can go right there. Once I set these things up, that gives me tuckable space. Okay. I'm gonna tuck it up so it looks like it's kind of coming down from there. And the same is true for, do I have a butterfly? That's enough of a, yes, that butterfly can go right there. Perfect. And I've got a piece of adhesive sticking to this, so I'm gonna put it on the flare, and I'll probably do some flare down there. So this is awesome. And again, it hurts my soul to be cutting up this purple paper, but I've got about 3 or 4 sheets of everything if you count the paper pad I bought. So That's good. And let me get a small piece of foam to put on that wing there. Okay, now this blue could go kind of right there. I like that. Then I bring the yellow down to the photo cluster. Oops, oh no, don't stick to the photo. What was I gonna do? I was gonna put it right here.
I got burgers for a burger bar tonight if you want to do.
What's that?
Burgers for a burger bar tonight.
Okay.
Burger.
Okay, got it. Okay, you're gonna put it in the fridge?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk to you about it later.
Right.
Yay, lunch delivery or delivery for dinner. Let's see. I want to use these little guys kind of randomly around, and I don't want to forget them. So let me do that. And I'm going to do some of them on one side and some on the other. There's beautiful scripty paper there. And let me I'm going to do this one like that because it's smaller. And it kind of, this side, when I placed the photo on there, I didn't put it on there straight. So that side's a little bit, that side is a little wider. And I'm trying to disguise that, but you'll know it because I've now told you. Let that go up there. What do I have left? I have this, which has kind of a nice mixed media look right there. So I think I'm gonna put that right in here. I'm determined. My goal is to use all of these bits. Okay, this one I'm going to use on the lime green side. And I'm going to put it right there. And layer this under that. Okay, that doesn't have adhesive on it yet. I've got one other cute one. I think I really like the mixed media showing. And I thought about maybe blurring down these colors, but I think I'm going to leave them. Okay, now I have this and this. I like this. Ooh, I'll tell you what I could do is this would really be nice right there, especially if I could hide that pink edge. That's good. I can't tell you how much I love those handmade watercolors. So, Emma, if you're watching this, I'm perfectly happy to get more of those in different colors in our future kits. So yay. I'm going to, this is a little bit of the butterfly paper. I'm going to kind of cut it on a straight line there, and I'm going to notch it as though it's a tab, and I'm just going to kind of stick it right here to get that purple color in. And it's truly a scrap. So this is truly scrapbooking. Okay, and let's see, I've got this that can go somewhere. I think that can go, use it on the black scripty side. Up in here. Okay, and what is this? This is, these are two, that's kind of a triangle-y thing, and I don't really have anything like that, but it could make it sort of as if it were a photo corner. Let's do that. It's cut, but not all the way through. So I'm okay with that. And it just kind of adds some of that, repeats that orange pattern there. I'm gonna kind of see if I can slide it under that. It's not at the right angle, so I need to pull it more out this way. And in this case, it's, for what I'm trying to do, it's important for it to be straight. So I've got this piece, I kind of like this side of it, but I think that wouldn't look all that great there. So I'll use this green side. Okay, I've got this butterfly wing that maybe could go right there. Don't want to throw a butterfly wing away, right? I have a few others. And I could, since I like the purple side so well, I could also I know what I'm gonna do there. I'm gonna layer it over the blue and under the black here. I have to kind of peel the black up, I guess, to get that right. Okay, there. That works. How about I use my hole punch and punch a purple hole, a purple circle. It's not a hole punch, it's a circle punch. And I knew that. Okay, and then I've got enough for a notch, otherwise known as a half circle. So I'm gonna add a little more purple around it, and then I think we're done. Let's see, I kind of like it maybe layered on top of that circle, like that. Just a slew of circles, right? And then where should this one go? Where do we need some purple? Maybe right in under this green leaf here. Ooh, the other side is pretty too. Just cutting a circle out of a butterfly wing. Okay. And I think that's it. I think I can legitimately call this trash. Let me see. I could possibly use some stamping right there. So something I like to do when I have the room for it is to cut out an outline circle or any outline shape when I have the real estate to do it. And where should this go? I think I'm going to do it there. Just for the hell of it. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take a little stamp that I didn't use, and I'm going to ink it up in the gray. Or do I want to add black? Because I have black there. Let's switch to black. These will be the only black stamped images. Okay, so I'm going to put those right there. Oh, how cute. How cute are those? And right here. And right here. Oh my gosh, doesn't that just light it up? Wow. This way with the... Okay, and I'm thinking kind of one right up here and one down here. Oops, I did an edge there. That doesn't bother me as much as it used to. I did it again. Okay, so I'm done. It's about time, you say. One thing I do see is I'd like a few splatters right here. And some on the calendar. Some down here, and I'll let these dry naturally because that'll let them be a little bit darker and more intense. Okay, so completely different background, clearly influenced by this the diagonal shape of that. Used entirely trash and scraps, and have kind of a hidden wink meaning to the title. And I tell you what I'm going to do is get a black pen, and I'm going to circle August and circle the 8th. Okay, so that has its little meaning, and I've still got my little stencil there. So thank you so much for watching. This one was fun, And I think this actually may look more like the original than this, even though I clearly went with the leaf tendrils and the dimensional flowers for this one. So I'm happy with this and love using those scraps. I might want to take one of these paper clips. That was kind of something we used a lot of in the class. I'm going to put that on there kind of as a nod to the paperclip requirement for the class. And it's a good color for it there. Okay. And that kind of goes behind the photo there, so it's good. Okay, so I managed to get some flares from Dotty About Flair. I've got lots of stamping. I made my own heart stencil and did that. And then I put the little heart there. I fussy cut some flowers and I fussy cut butterfly leaves and have all kinds of trash and scraps from the weekend's activities. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.